Okay, welcome back in. Today, Leah and I
Hi.
are going to make our little previews for the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. What I'll do is I'll write down the teams that we think they're going to win, and we'll see how we do when the next round starts. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Do we want to start in the East or the West?
Which one's the east and which one's the west?
That's East, that's West.
West.
Okay, so starting in the West, on the team on the very top, the Winnipeg Jets, they are playing against the St. Louis Blues. This season, the Winnipeg Jets won the season series 3 games to 1. They won the season series 3 games to 1. The only time that these two teams have met in the postseason was in 2019 when St. Louis beat them in 6 games. Who are you going to take in this one?
I think Winnipeg Jets.
You going to go with Winnipeg Jets?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll write that down. WPG Winnipeg, and then I'll write mine.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Winnipeg as well. I think it's going to go at least 6 or 7 games. I don't think it's going to be a sweep or a 5-game series. I think Winnipeg is just a little bit better this time. They got a lot of people to prove wrong because they've been bounced in the first round the last 2 seasons, and the last time they made it far in the playoffs was in 2018 when they got to the conference final. I think they're better than the team than from 7 years ago, so I'm going to go with Winnipeg over the St. Louis Blues. Okay, so that takes care of that one. The next one has the Dallas Stars taking on the Colorado Avalanche. For this season, the Avalanche won the season series 2 games to 1. This is going to be the 7th time these teams are going to meet in the playoffs. First time was back in 1999. They met in the conference finals. That would go all 7 games. Dallas would win that series. The following year, in 2000, again in the conference finals, they would meet in 7 games. Dallas came away with that victory. In 2004, Colorado finally got their first victory over the Stars in the playoffs, winning that series 4 games to 1. The following hockey season in 2006, they would win that series in the first round 4 games to 1 as well. In 2020, when they had the playoff bubble in Edmonton, they would win that series in 7 games. And then just last season in the conference semifinals, Dallas won that series 4 games to 2. So they currently lead the playoff series 4 games to 2. Who are you going to take in this one?
I think I'm going to take the Colorado Avalanche.
Taking the Colorado Avalanche?
Yeah. Who are you taking?
I'll write yours down and I'll explain mine in just a second. So Leah's taking Colorado. I'm going to take Dallas. There's just something about this Dallas team. Yes, Colorado is getting Landeskog back, and they have a very good team, but I think Dallas is going to take the series. Just because Rantanen's playing against his former team. If it wasn't for the Rantanen factor, I'd probably go be with you. Okay, the next series right below that has the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Minnesota Wild. This is the second time these teams have met in the playoffs. The first time was back in 2021. Vegas won that series 4 games to 3. They also won the season series this past season 3 games to 0. So therefore, Vegas has a 1-0 lead when it comes to the playoff series. I'm going to take Vegas. I just think they're the better team. I think Minnesota is a good team, but they're not at Vegas's level. So I'm going to take Vegas, and I say they probably finish this in 5 or 6 games. I don't think it's going to be a 7-game series like it was last time. Who are you taking?
I think I'm also going to take Vegas.
You're taking Vegas as well?
Yeah.
The Vegas Golden Knights. So it's a sweep when it comes to our predictions of that series. All right, the last game from the West has the Los Angeles Kings taking on the Edmonton Oilers. This is going to be the 4th time in a year that these two teams have played each other. However, this time Los Angeles has home ice advantage. The Los Angeles Kings did win the season series 3 games to 1. This is going to be the 11th time these two teams have met each other. And like I said, this is going to be the 4th straight season in the McDavid era, if you want to call it that. First time was back in 1982. It was a best-of-5 series back then. Los Angeles won that series 3 games to 2. In 1985, Edmonton would get their revenge, winning that series 3 games to 0. In 1987, Edmonton would win that series 2 games to 1. It must have been a best-of-3 at that time. In 1989, the series would go all 7 games, and Los Angeles would win in Gretzky's first year with LA. In 1990, Edmonton Oilers would win that series 4 games to 0 in the conference semifinals. They would meet again in 1991 in the conference semifinals. Edmonton would win that one 4-2. In 1992, they met in the first round of the playoffs. Edmonton won that series 4 games to 2. 30 years later, they met in the playoffs for the first. In 2020, they met in the playoffs. Edmonton won that series 4-3. In 2023, Edmonton won the series 4-2. And just last year, Edmonton won the series 4-1. So overall, Edmonton has an 8-2 advantage in the playoff series against Los Angeles. However, this time, I don't have that much faith. I just think LA's been a better team during the regular season. So therefore, I think the Kings finally beat Edmonton and advance to the second round of the playoffs. Who are you taking?
I think I'm also going to take the Kings.
You're taking the Kings as well?
Yeah.
So we're both predicting that LA wins. If Edmonton happens to pull it off, fantastic. That'd be great. But they would have to be the away seed for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And then depending on the outcome of the Central Division, they would possibly be the away team for that series as well. And I just think playing away from home in the playoffs is just a little bit too difficult in a hostile environment. All right, that takes care of the west side. Now we're off to the east. The top team, this game just happened as the Montreal Canadiens defeated the Hurricanes, so therefore they have clinched the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. So between Washington and Montreal, Washington won the season series 2-1. The only time these two teams met in the playoffs, and I still remember this playoff run in 2010, the Habs would win that series in 7 games, 4-3. So therefore Montreal has a 1-0 lead in the playoff series. Who do you got in this one?
I think I'm going to take the Habs.
Taking Montreal?
Yeah.
Wow, you're being bold. Fantastic. So Leah's going to take Montreal. And I so badly want to pick Montreal, but I just think Washington's just a little bit better. I think this will go 6 or 7 games. I don't think it's going to be a sweep for the Capitals, but I do believe that Washington will defeat my beloved Montreal Canadiens and advance to the second round for the first time since 2018. All right, the next series has the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils.
Hey.
There you go. Going to talk about your favorite team. So Carolina, where'd the remote go? There you go. And the Devils played 4 times this season. Both teams winning 2 games apiece. So therefore, the season series was tied at 2. This is going to be the 6th time that these two teams have met in the playoffs. First time was back in 2001. New Jersey would win that series 4-1. And then after that, it was all Carolina. The following season in 2002, they met in the first round. The Carolina Hurricanes won that series 4-2. In 2006, they would meet in the conference semifinals. Carolina would win that series 4-1. In 2009, they met in the first round. Carolina would win that series 4-3. And just 2 years ago, the Hurricanes and Devils met in the conference semifinals, and the Hurricanes got the best of the Devils that year, winning that series 4-1. So therefore, Carolina has a 4-1 edge when it comes to the playoff series.
You can say yours first.
Huh?
You can say yours first.
I'm going to make my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm only saying this because of the injuries that the Devils have. So I'm going to say that the Hurricanes are going to win this series. I think this is probably going to be a 5 or 6 game series. I don't think they're going to sweep the Devils. But I just think because of Jack Hughes' injury and Dougie Hamilton, both gone, those are both key pieces for the Devils. So I think the Hurricanes will advance to the second round of the playoffs for the 4th or 5th straight year in a row.
I also think Siegenthaler is still up.
What?
Siegenthaler is still up still?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. Who you got?
I guess I'll take New Jersey.
You gonna take New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, of course they're going to predict your favorite team. That's what most people do. They want their team to win, therefore they think they're going to win.
You're not choosing your team.
What?
You're not choosing your team.
I just think Washington's a better team. I think it'll be an interesting series. I don't think Montreal wins it, though. I think it's just nice to get into the playoffs for the first time since 2021. All right. 2 more. What? It's okay. It is okay. Okay, so just 2 more series to look at. The next one has the Toronto Maple Leafs, who won the Atlantic Division for the first time ever. And they are going to be taking on the Ottawa Senators.
Yep.
So we're going to have a provincial rival when it comes to the first round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. So Toronto won the season series 3 games to nothing. The Ottawa Senators won the season series 3-0. That's my fault. This is going to be the 5th time that these two teams have met in the postseason. Toronto has won all their matches. In 2000, they win that series 4-2 in the first round. In 2001, they met in the first round, sweeping the Ottawa Senators. In 2002, they met in the conference semifinals, and Toronto won that series 4-3. And then in 2004, 21 years ago, they met in the first round, and Toronto won that series 4-3. So therefore, Toronto has a 4-0 edge when it comes to the playoff series. I'm going to give the edge to the Leafs in this one. I think Ottawa's going to put up a hell of a fight because it's going to be the first time since 2017 that they've made the playoffs. But I just think the Leafs are a better team on paper. I mean, they won the division, so therefore it proves that they should be the better team. And I don't really count those regular season losses as a big deal for the Leafs. I just think when the playoffs come around, that's when it really matters. And I'll just, again, before I stumble my words anymore, I'm just going to write down I got Toronto over Ottawa. How about you?
I think I'm going to choose Ottawa.
Choosing Ottawa?
Yeah.
That'd be a hell of an upset. Only because Toronto's has had a habit of making the playoffs and losing in the first round, except for 2023 when they finally beat the Lightning, but then lost to Florida in the second round. So you take Ottawa, I'll take Toronto. All right, now we're off to one. We're leaving one Battle of Ontario off to the Battle of Florida. On to the Battle of Florida. That's what I meant to say. As we had the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're playing against the Florida Panthers. So, Tampa Bay and Florida met 4 times in the regular season. Both these teams would win 2 games apiece, so therefore the season series was tied at 2. This is going to be the 4th time that these teams have met in the playoffs. First time was back in 2021. Tampa Bay won that series 4-2. In 2022, Tampa Bay would sweep Florida 4-0. And just last year, Florida finally got their revenge, defeating the Lightning in 5 games, 4-1. So therefore, Tampa Bay has a 2-1 series lead. If Florida wins, then the playoff series will be tied at 2. Obviously, if Tampa Bay wins the series, they'll have a 3-1 advantage in that factor. Who you got?
You can go first.
I can go first?
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay has had a spectacular season, and I never would have guessed that they would have as good of a season without Steven Stamkos, the captain of their team, after he signed with Nashville in the offseason. But they had a hell of a season, and they gave Toronto a run for their money. They could have finished first in that Atlantic Division, but evidently they got home ice advantage, at least in the first round of the playoffs. I think they'll take full advantage of that, and they should advance to the East semifinals. Who do you got?
You should write yours down first. I think I'll go with Tampa.
Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we both picked Tampa Bay. So just do a quick little recap. We both chose Winnipeg over St. Louis. I chose Dallas over Colorado. You chose the Avs over the Stars.
Yeah.
We both chose the Vegas Golden Knights. We both chose the Los Angeles Kings. You chose my beloved Montreal Canadiens, who I would love if they could win a playoff series. That'd be fantastic. I just think Washington's going to take full advantage of that home ice advantage and win that series. New Jersey and Carolina, again, we're splitting heads on that one. You think the Devils, I'd say Carolina. The Battle of Ontario, I got Toronto. You've picked Ottawa. And then we both believe that Tampa Bay will advance to the second round of the playoffs. All right, that's going to take care of this video. What I want to do is, after each game for each team, I'm going to do a simulation on the NHL 25. So after each team has played one game, I'll do a simulation just like that. After game 2, so on and so forth. And then I want to do a simulation until the Stanley Cup Finals, which I always love to do. All right, as always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative as well. Until next time, actually, before that, do you have anything you want to add? You sure?
No.
Do you want to talk about your channel?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I haven't posted in I don't remember, but I don't think I've posted it since a month ago. This Easter I have off. I hopefully want I'm gonna try to make more edits. And I have 20 subscribers.
There you go.
Yay!
You have 20 subscribers and you're still climbing. So what's the name of your channel?
Just Hockey. JUSTHOCKEYY1.
Okay, so her channel is Just Hockey, JUSTHOCKEYY1. Correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe you can get a few more subscribers. We'll see. Anyways, as always, until next time.
Take care.